Hi everyone, very good morning. Welcome back to ITOM Batch 2, Day 28. How are you doing guys today? No
Good, Ajay.
response. Yeah, good. Good to hear. Thank you. Okay, so before proceeding today's session, is there any question, any doubt related to CSDM basics which we have covered and the definition of the CSDM if in simple words if I say?
I think we are trying to understand the whole thing, but it was a good start. Actually.
Okay, sure. So thank you. I think let's get started then. Let me know once my screen is visible to you guys. Not this one, this one. Yep. So let's get started with that, founded key principles of the CSDM, right? So as we discussed yesterday in layman term, it just provide a data model on our service now which help us to get good reporting and good visibility, right? But let's see what is the principle of it, right? So as you know, principle means eat apple a day keeps away from doctor, like that, right? So if we are doing the things properly, we are able to get, or we are able to avoid the things which is going to be happen, right? So let's just discuss on that, right? So as I already mentioned, CSDM was created based on key principles that have evolved over the time. These principles were established to guide decision we make with regards what problem we tackle, right? So first of all, we need to understand what problem we have tackled, entity and name definitions, and how the model is implemented based on that CSDM has been designed, and how CSDM is managed as a whole for the benefits of the product that run on the platform. So as you know, we have over of different type of organizations or different type of products or different type of domains using the service now. That can be healthcare, that can be manufacturing, that can be IT, or that can be BFSI, insurance, or some other, right? So I can understand, while we are creating CSDM design, that is easy for IT. But when we are little bit dig down on the healthcare side or the BFSI side, or manufacturing side, then understanding about their products and defining or aligning those particular products within ServiceNow is little bit difficult, right? So when we are going in workshop sessions with the customer, then we need to understand what problems customer have it, how the model will be implementing, right? And how that is going to be benefit the whole product on which they are using on the ServiceNow platform. That is the main agenda to finding out the key principles for CSDM, right? So the first principle are simplified concept. Simplified concept is concept are represented in simple, distinct manner to eliminate duplicates and confusion over data sources, right? I hope you everyone knows what simplified understanding about the definition of the simplified concept, where we are simplifying the things which eliminate duplicates and confusion over the data sources. So if we have multiple data sources which we are creating the data, like CMDB, right? If we have multiple data sources for the CMDB which updating the data in the CMDB, right? So it definitely will create duplicates or confuse the confusion the data, right? But that's we have to be simplified that particular process here. Second is designed for reporting and analytics. That is the prime focus, as I mentioned, right? A prime objective of CSDM is not to support consistent analysis, but to support the reporting and reportings basically, right? So that is one of the things. Third is preceptive relationships, right? The prescribed relationships and references should be leveraged as the main approach linked to CSDM table, right? So as I mentioned, ServiceNow provide the data model. They have also provide, which table have which relationships type with another table. So that is already there. We just need to use those particulars to be populate the data. Then shared data model collaboration, right? So shared data model collaborations basically, identifying the data model to be shared across product in support of the simplified concept and collaboration. So it help basically, the data model which is designed or which is, aligned by ServiceNow as a framework, which is can be shared with across all type of domains or all type of organizations, right? So that is the main goal of it, right? Or principle of it, right? Then definition agreed upon on CSDM definition should be used wherever the table reference or attribute is utilized, right? Out of the box tables of the CSDM, shared CSDM table will be provided out of the box jet boot by default, right? So as I mentioned that earlier, we have also discussed CSDM is nothing, or there is no product or there is no module which we have to be activate, right? This is out of the box activated, and once it is activated, out of the box table which is part of it, that will be available on by default in ServiceNow instance. Consistent data integration, right? So it's also one of the principle when we are doing populating data for different sources again, or data sources, we have to be ensure about the technology and ensure the data integrity that should be correct, right? CSDM adoption, point number 8. So customer impact per release will be limited by the providing automation and guidance to accelerate CSDM adoption. That is one of the principle as well, right? Where customer should not be impact while he's adopting automations and CSDM adoptions basically, right? Then data governance and process, that is also comes in the picture, where we have to be ensure that put some efforts related to data governance and effectiveness process to manage the veracity of the set data. That is also required. Process use documentation, as you know, like if we are not able to find anything, we have ServiceNow documentation as well, right? So we can also follow the ServiceNow documentation as well, and process documentations, and how the CSDM will help or provide the value for each product team and references CSDM objects, that will we can also refer it, right? As well as I hope you are aware about the Now Create, right? Now Create, we have lots of success pack or lots of other things available, right? Which we can also use it while we are implementing the ServiceNow CSDM implementation, right? So let me move to the next thing, which is CSDM conceptual model, right? Yesterday we discussed, or I showcased you about the three versions, right? Version 0, version 1, version 2, version 3, right? Now we have version 4, which is currently using, and version 5 is on the way, or might be, it's available in Janedo. So it's already there, right? So, but it will take time to be adapt that particular thing. So let's discuss about the version 4. What is the version 4, right? How that will be in that design, and how will be the personas, and how the the things will be there, right? So the first is build. Basically builds, we have SLDC component, right? And the teams will comes in the picture. The second is design. While we are designing, we need to understand the three things, which is business applications, information objects, and business capabilities, and who help out, or which personas will be part of that particular design phase: enterprise architect and the application owners. So we need to from enterprise architect or application owners, we need to understand, sorry, we need to understand, like how many business applications we have it on the enterprise level, how they are working, what business capabilities we have it, right? Then the third things comes in the picture is sale and consume. The name is also mentioning sale and consume, basically who are going to be consume that particular business capabilities, how that will be part of that particular roadmap, right? So that in sale and consumes, business service comes in the picture, service portfolio comes in the picture, business service offerings comes in the picture, and the catalog, right? So catalog basically just which is used by the business consumers to create or to refer or to understand the business servicing or business service offerings in business services. The two personas comes in the picture is business relationship manager and the customer service manager, which part of it, right? And the fourth thing is managed technical services, which is again completely on IT side, if I say in simple words, right? So we have application services, we have dynamic CI groups mapping, we have technical service offerings, we have technical services which is connected to the technical service offerings, and technical service offering can be connected to the dynamic CI groups. And again, dynamic CI group part of the infrastructure. The same way application services is part of infrastructures, right? And who are the part of or who are personas of that one is application service owners, technology service owners, and technologies. There are two technology service owners basically. One is infrastructure and one is for delivery. And end of the day, the foundation data, right? Because each service or each thing will be supported by the foundation data only, right? So business processes will be there, contracts will be there, product models is there. Product model is one of the most important to manage the CMDB, basically, right? So as you know, like one product is if I take an example of Samsung, right? Samsung is couple of products like mobile is there, washing machine is there, TV is there, right? And they have different models on it, right? So that thing is going to be managed in the product models basically. Then again, CMDB groups, which we have already discussed, and I showcased you a couple of days back only. Locations is the base data, right, where we can identify that CI belongs to which location, or if business application belongs to particular location as well, so that will be their groups. Again, if what is the support group, what is that, infra group related to that, right? Users who is, application owner or data owner or owned by that particular business application. And then we have company, business unit, departments, and the life cycle, right? So one by one, we are going to be discuss about each and everything of the foundation side, and then these particular four, phases of the CSDM, which is build, design, sell, consume, and that manage technical services. Right. So let me go down. Let's discuss what is service. Anyone knows what is service basically? In simple words, if I ask.
That it takes a task and tries to complete a task.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So basically, what is service? Service is nothing. Service is something which we are consuming every day by, service providers, in simple words, if I say, right, which help us to, utilize, or which help us to, easy for our life, make easy our lives basically, right? So in if I'm going to be office, I'm making a coffee, or that is a service, right? If I'm getting water on the time, that is a service, right? If it is that impacting, right, if they are not able to do that, definitely, that will be an impact, and that will be impacted to that whole organizations, or might be that particular area where that particular facility is not available, right? The same way, that's why we also called in service now IT service management. So where we are managing IT related services, that we called IT service management, right? We are putting couple of principles, couple of process to manage that particular services, so that, users, end users, or that external customers or external users will not be impacted. Whoever using any other, whoever using the organization services which is, offered by them. Like if I take an example of Bharti Airtel, Airtel is providing the services for SIM cards, data, broadband, so if that is impacting, end of the day, the business is not working for them, right? So that is in simple words, if I say service, right? Here, if you see, service typically have three aspects: the interaction, the offering, and the service system. While ServiceNow ships these three out-of-the-box service types, you can extend these service types of classification to align with with the service types in the organization. And the out of box, there are three out of the box three services are there, which is application, business, and technical, right? So which is aligned with my business, as well as technical and applications basically, right? If I go down, now we have differentiate between all three services, right? The first is application, second is business, and third is technical. Let's discuss about the first, application service. So application service is the service type that is logical representation of deployed system or application stack. In simple words, you know, logical representation of deployed system and application stacks means the infrastructure which help me to give a visibility or the logical representation, like these systems are part of my application service. Like that can be a database, that can be a Windows server, which is giving me visibility how that are connecting to each other. And that application service is CMDB CI service auto table, right? Key details of that is, an operational CI, obviously, right? Focus on incident problem change, unique instance of an application, and service that can be created, application service can be created for per environment, that can be dev, QA, and prod. If that particular application service supporting to my business service in the prod, definitely there is impact, right? But if it is supporting dev and QA, might be there is no impact because that is just for development. But if it is development is not working for long time, again it's an impact, right? If QA is not working for a long time, it's an impact to delivery the things on the time. Might be we can create it based on the reasons as well. Right. And how what is the methods to populate the application services is manual mapping, service mapping with entry points, tags, and dynamic query. So, while we are discussing about the service mapping, definitely we are going to be deep dive into all these, application services types, right? Then we have business service. So this service type is published to business user, and two, it typically underpins one or more business capabilities, right? So in simple words, if I say which is exposed to my business, it's just a logical component, right? Which is used by my business. Under the business service, that can be possible couple of technical service and application service comes in the picture, right? But it's mostly exposing to the business, and we have couple of business capabilities enabled or having the part of the business service. So again, business service can be, if I take an example of it, business service can be uh, uh, um, like a Dell is providing the supports, right? On 24 into 7 support. It's providing support for corporate customers. That is a business service, right? Under that, when he's providing the support, there are a couple of business capabilities like support for the laptop, support for the desktop, support for the mobiles, or support is on site, support is remote, right? So whatever they are providing capabilities under one business service, that can be there, right? And the what is the table of it, that is CMDB CS business service. Now the I will just tell you as well, the main table of the service is CMDB underscore CI underscore service. And these all three part of that one means the parent or base table is CMDB CI service. And under that we have application, business, and all, right? So what is the key details for business is one level, not a hierarchy of the business services. It's again an operational CI. End of the day, like application, business, and the technical part of my CMDB, and we track as a CI only. Means that the configuration item attribute is not there, but we track as a CI. So the other related attributes should be available, or we can update on it, right? Again, it's used to impact an incident problem change, used for approval for change, right? When we are going to be take an approval related to any change, we are putting business service, right? And should be consume or sale focused. So it should be part of the sale, a consumer and the sales basically. Then we have technical service that is mostly used by internally, right? So that is published to service owners and typically underpin a business or application service. So underpin of business and application service basically, right? So basically that is exposed to my service owners, and in different words, if I say how that is, helping out to service owners, where we can use dynamic CI grouping, we can use the CMDB groups to showcase my service owners or technical owners. This is that, based on some filter conditions, we can showcase this is something related to your LOB, your business units. That is basically technical service, right? Table is CMDB CI service technical. The key details: one level, not a hierarchy of technical services. Operational CI used for impact in incident problem change. Should be provider focus. The technology provided for the business to consume and the sale, right? So again, infrastructure components comes in the picture here in the technical service, and which supports my business service and the application service. That is the simple of the technical service. Any questions in that one before moving to the next? Might be, I understand that is something, confusing, but small, little difference in the each definition. Any question, Lalit, Arati, Harish?
No, they good.
Okay. Then business service, as I, published for business users, technical service published for service owners, and application services typically type of logical representations of my stack, application stack, right? What reporting comes with the CSDM? At, in simple words, the documentation mentioning the short answer none at this time. Again, it's a framework to focus on identifying where to place data that our product depend upon, right? So if like we already knows about the ITL framework, right? That just a framework. The same way CSM is just a framework which help us to guide where we can put the data and which help us to give correct reporting. As of now, out of the box, there is no reporting available, right? In future, more visualization, reporting, and analytics will be made available through the product team and utilize the ServiceNow data model. Again, while we are discussing that, we already discussed about the CMDB query builder, right? So CMDB query builder allows to easily build complex infrastructure and service queries that span multiple CMDB classes, non-CMDB classes, and that evolve many CIs that are connected by different relationships. So I already showcased on that day, like if we have now, if we are utilizing the ServiceNow report module, we are only able to create a report for the specific class, right? And we can put some filters and my dashboards and the list type views and reports will be available. But using the CMDB query builder, we can club more than two tables for CMDB and non-CMDB related to that, and which help us to give me a complete visualization. If I give an example here, if I just want to check specific to service like business service or application service, so my parent table in that, CMDB, while I'm configuring the CMDB query builder, my parent table will be business service or the technical service. And if I just want to check the incident, I can check it like to connect that incident table with the business service table, right? But if I just want to go more dig down on it, right, on the incident, up now you ask me, Ajay, that I can do that one from directly from incident table itself. I can go on the incident table, I can do group by on the business service, and I can see how many business services is part of that particular incidents, right? That is also there. But how that is little bit different, you can also put non other non CMDB tables. You can also put different things on that particular incident table or the business table to get visualization or reporting to more than two tables, basically, if in simple words, if I say. And we can also see the relationships connected to them, how that is connected, how that incident is part of the particular business service, right? And let me domains. I think basically we have in CSDM we have five types of domain which we already discussed, like foundation, design, build, manage, technical service, sales, and consume. What is the mean of what is that each domain purpose? What is the use of the each domain? So let's start with the foundation domain. Foundation domain represents in CSDM is represents those tables and contains base data. Basically, as in simple words, if I say with an example, if you are purchasing an iPhone, right, and if you are not getting the base application which is provided by that Apple, that is you will be little bit worried about it, right? Or if they provided the application on it, but the base things like settings is not available, you are not able to do use of it, right? The same way we have ServiceNow provided the tables on it, right? But if we are not populating the correct data, base data, foundation data, on which completely ServiceNow will be running, right? If I'm not feeding the correct users in the user table, might be that will not useful for them, right? If I'm not able to populate the correct location for my data centers, for my users location, for my office locations, then there's no use of it, right? The same way, if we have company we have couple of departments, couple of business units, if we are not populating that, right? So the foundation data should be correct. That is that foundation domain simplifying, basically. And the table identifying foundation domain are not used in the CMDB relationship. Have you seen any these particular tables like user, group, location, part of my CMDB rel CI table? No, right? That are not the part of it. That are just supporting my CIS or the CMDB with the attribute level, not the relationship type, right? Hence, they are critical and they are critical referential data, as I already mentioned here, right? In some scenarios, foundation data is required to period to implementation of ServiceNow product or build out of the CMDB. I hope you when you're doing the implementation, you remember when you are starting any development, right? First thing is your side is, or when you're starting any test implement develop instance, basically the first things what you are doing, you are uploading or you are connecting with Azure or any active directory to populate the users and the group data so they can log in and they can test it, right? On the first place, if you are going to be provide any functionality to test on the test instance. So the, in some scenarios, the foundation data is the base data which is required period of the implementations or moving out to prod, basically, if in simple words, if I say, right? And the common personas in the domain are process owners, data stewards, product owner, and the contract managers, right? So process owners who design the process, data stewards who have data understanding about the data's, product owner, like we already knows different product of an organization having, so they understand about their products and they are on that particular products. And the contract managers who are managing the contracts with be it any any type of contract, can be IT related contract, or can be human resource related contracts and whatever, right? So who are managing that particular things, these are the part of the foundation. Because if you see, uh, who are managing that base foundation data, that is data stewards, then products, who are managing the products, that will be product owners, contract managers, and business processes that will be owned by process owners basically, right? Next is, if I just want to go a little bit deep down about the business processes, contracts and all, right? So business process is the method of related step that stakeholder take to achieve in a business goal, in simple words, right? And business process is manually maintained configuration item that can be identified critically, both declared and determined, as well as impact to confidentially, integrity and availability. So it's just a process which we are setting up, or which we are configuring, okay, that monthly basis that things will be happening, annually basis that will be happening. And I will give you an example here, like we are putting some checklist, right? Like Apple is also putting some checklist, okay, every year he need to release his new phone, right? And the same way, he also putting every 2 months the features and security releases on the Apple phone, right? Or iPhone basically. So they design the business process at their side, that will be happening on yearly, half yearly, quarterly, and which help us to improve basically, right? And what is the table of the business processes is CMDB CI business process table. The next is contract. Contract, as you already understanding by the naming convention, contract is binding agreement between two parties, right? That can be anything, that can be customer or service provider, that can be partner or the service provider, that can be with the when we are purchasing service provider and the customer again, right? So that is the binding agreement between two parties. In the now platform, contract contains detailed information such as contract number, start, end date, active status, terms, conditions, statement, document, and so and so, right? So where we have all information about the contracts, what we have it, right? On where contract is going to be stored, that is stored in the AST underscore contract table. And contract is not a configuration item. It is not a configuration item, right? I will give you an example of the contract basically. When I was working earlier on the contract, one of the projects where we have implemented the contract management, where what we have designed, that particular organization having the contract with the service providers basically, and and that a source organizations which is helping out to provide a couple of different type of services again, right? So we build a catalog there, we configure, they comes into it, they raising a request on the contract side, then it will go for approval, and so things will be happening before contract is going to be finalized with the contract manager, right? So it we in contract we are tracking each and everything, you know that should be required, like if we are, that is something same like SLA, right? So in SLA we have a again a agreement between the two parties, where we are defining key that should be that service levels we have to be agreed upon, and which we have to be met it. If we are not able to met that, we or that particular service provider is going to be is going to be impacted by that basically, in any of the situation, right? Might be they are not going to be renew that particular contract with that particular service provider or something else, right? So the contract is just storing that information, that is when it started, when it is going to be end, what is the term and conditions we are agreed, what is the renewable information, and then and last one the financial terms basically, right? And contracts utilize contract models type from the product model module. Here it's also there, right? So we have contracts for consumables, software licensing, hardware, resource utilizations and all, right? So different type of contract for different things basically. Then we have product model. Before moving to the product model, guys, are you following me? I hope you're getting it. What I'm, just trying to cover the basics of the CSDM, and then we'll move to that other things.
Yes, Ajay.
Arathi, in your voice, it just feels no.
No, I
So
said yes.
you said yes, but I feel no because that confidence is not there.
No, I'm getting it. It's just a lot of theory, so that's the only thing.
No, that's why that is completely because what, I also not too much good or not too much interested to learn about the theories, but here, if the basic things is not clear, as I mentioned, right, then is something we are missing always. If let's take an example. If we know everything, how what tables is going to be used, but if we don't know what is the business process, how the contract will be part of it, how the product model will be part of the at a successful CSDM implementation, I think that we are lagging somewhere. That I feel. Right. So now product models basically. Products are specific various or configuration of a product used for managing and tracking through various ServiceNow platform applications. Right? Within ServiceNow, these products are recorded as a product models. Product model provide the ability to identify a product owner, team of the status of the product within your organization, capabilities, to the product, right? As I already given example, if we have iPhone or Apple have a couple of different products like MacBook is there, iPhone is there, tablets or Mac AirPad is there, and earbuds is there, right? And they have different models basically on it, right? So products and then model, we are storing it on it. And if we are working in any like product based organizations, definitely not if we are working in our service based organizations as well, product owners is also there, right, who are managing that particular products, right? What is the team size of it, right? Who are belongs to that particular team, that we is available or we have the visibility on the product models, right? And if you like, while we are doing discovery and as well as we are managing the IT hardware, oh sorry, IT asset management or hardware asset management, right? The product is also there. Like we use laptops, we use servers, right? Different type of laptops, different type of servers, in which different type of models we have it, right? That we are going to be managed there, and that is something, one of the best thing where which gives the clear visibility on it, right? If new product or new that basically a model is introduced, you that will be part of it automatically. Right. So as already mentioned, product models are extended to 7 base types. One is application, which is version. Second is software, version specific. Third is contract. Fourth is facility. Then fifth is hardware, consumables, and the service. So these type of products we have. Consumables is something where we are using consumable items like laptop, or sorry, not laptop. It's mouse, keyboards, like which is consumed. Services is something related to where the services we are managing, that will be business service basically, right? Facility related to, like, in office premises, we have different type of facilities available. As I already mentioned, the coffee facility is there, tea facility is there, tables is there, chairs is there, right? Contracts again related to the contract informations, the products for that, right? Hardware is again my laptop, desktop, hardware servers, whatever the hardware related to IT. Softwares, we have the softwares specific, products as well, right? In Microsoft Office, there are again three models is there, like 2007, 2011, 2016, 2019, right? So then we are going to be manage that one. In application, again, we have it, right? So that is going to be managed in the product models basically. Right. And product model are recorded in CMDB model table. product and or its extended table aligned to the phase aligned to the seven base products basically, right? The product model table again not part of the configuration item. Configuration item referenced product model using the model ID attribute available on the CMDB table, right? So we have a model ID on the CMDB. So when we are referring that one, that model ID is reference of the product model basically. So indirectly, we are also referring the product model table here. For example, if you see a service offering CI may reference a service model, while a Windows server may reference a hardware model, right? So that is product models. Then we have CMDB group that we just recently discussed in the couple of days back as well as a practical. CMDB group is collection of the CIs based on one or more following options. One is query saved query builder queries, then encoded queries and the manual entries, right? Again, the saved query builder queries is just we can create in the query builder and we can populate through the CMDB groups. Then encoded queries like we can put the filter conditions based on whatever we want on attribute level or the location level or the field level. Manual entries which we are going to be enter manually, right? Again, CMDB group is not a configuration item, remember. The purpose of the CMDB group is to provide grouping of the CIs. This grouping can be used throughout the now platform. It just to grouping of the CIs basically. Within the CSDM, the dynamic CI groups is used as a part of the model and reference a CMDB group to provide a list of the CI based on the criterion. If you remember, CMDB group we are creating, but in the CSDM we cannot, CMDB groups we cannot use directly. That should be used by the dynamic CI groups as a part of the model, right? So from we have to be map or we have to be update as a reference that particular CMDB groups to dynamic CI group table, right? And CMDB groups are recorded in the CMDB group table. Again, its group can be contain one or more saved queries from the query builder, encoded queries, and the manually added configurations, right? So that is CMDB groups. Now, life cycle. If in simple words, if I ask, what is life cycle, guys?
Where a service or something is relevant.
Okay. Anyone else wants to add anything? Okay, so life cycle is simple words. If I say in my terms, might be I'm incorrect. Correct me if I'm wrong. Everything has a life or everything has a life cycle. Like we are also here on Earth. We have also a life cycle. We born, we grow up, and we started earning. Then we are going to be for marriage. Then we are going for different things, and then we are going to be dead, right? So we have a that particular life cycle. That same way, if I talk about the hardware assets, right? So first of all, we are getting the procuring request, then procurement request will be raised, right? And then we have different different things like once procurement request is done, then we that particular data or particular hardware available in our our warehouses, then that it's assigned, it's not assigned, in operational, it's not operational, is retired, it's not retired, like that is the different fields or status we are used on the life cycle, right? So we are tracking that as well, and that is also required to manage the CSDM basically. So life cycle are standard field and value for tracking life cycle stage and the stage status for the products, asset, contract, CI, location, and more, right? If let's take an example, if contract, we have a contract which is created that have a life cycle that will be valid for 1 year or 2 years. So for 1 year it will be active, and after 1 year that will be not active. It might be completed, or it might be renewed, or it might be something else. If it is not, then that should not be part of that particular table, right? So we have a life cycle for everything, and that how we are going to be tracked. We are going to be tracked based on the life cycle stage and the status, stage status, right? So life cycle state can be example. If I give an example for CMDB, it's operational or non-operational, right? But stage status is something is operational. Yeah, it's available something, right? If non-operational, it can be retired, or it can be sold off, or it can be lost, or something else, right? So we are managing that using those particular things, right? So basically, in the Paris release, new life cycle stage and life cycle status attribute were born, two new attribute on every CI. Then one is life cycle stage, and the second is life cycle status. The stage in the life cycle processes and the status in the life cycle stage equals to overall life cycle, right? The life cycle stage represent the stage and the phase of an overall life cycle processes. A life cycle stage stands represent the status or setup within a life cycle, within life cycle stage basically. So that is about life cycle. Any questions till now? I'm also not getting, today positive vibes while I'm, going through that, because I just feel I am repeating or I'm just mentioning the things, but you are not getting it, guys. Is that the case?
No,
Ajay, we are able to follow, but you know what percentage of this you will remember 1 day or 2 days from today, unless we keep a constant reading thing, right? Whereas if you show us a form and how it works, what functionality, that's much easier to for us to understand and retain that knowledge. So we are kind of
Right.
just trying.
So let me do one thing. I think it's a weekend, right? Let me try to prepare a simple, PPT on the on CSDM. If you want to go with that, if might be which I'm feeling now, that particular things like whatever CSDM group or CMDB group product models, you already aware about it, right? I just don't want to be waste or go into deep related to that. So let me go to directly on the CSDM side, where how you are going to be design something, right? I will try, if I get some time, definitely I will try to build something PPT, or some demo type of on the instance itself. So I will showcase you that, how we define X service, business service, that is the business capabilities that we have put it the relationships XYZ, then we have this, then we have this. I will try to make it like that.
Right. So Ajay, I also, along with that, if that's not possible, or I don't know what the other members would think, but
Mhm.
honestly, if you have two more classes with this theory, I don't think at least I am not getting any interest because it's all theoretical, right? What I
Right.
want to propose is you give us some PDFs and say, hey, do these readings, then we'll have a general discussion about it. I will touch on each topic and discuss.
I think,
Maybe that's a bit,
that's also
because what is
nice.
after, yeah, because Monday we again do this 1 hour thing. I'm understanding what you're saying, but I don't know how much I can take it home, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And you
I'm
say,
definitely, because what I feel, Lalit, if I'm
uh-huh,
not myself, if not getting the positive vibes or feeling,
uh,
you are
uh-huh,
getting it. That is no,
right,
that completely waste of things or waste of time ourselves, right? So
right.
I'm
Ajay,
that
instead of
more comfortable with you.
right, Ajay, one other thing, we don't want you to put some energy in preparing PPTs and all, right? My recommendation is you create a questionnaire in an Excel, like maybe 50, 60 questions looking at the notes, and give us like 4 or 5 documents to read. Hey, this is the white paper, try to understand. And then we'll look at each question, and then we all have this discussion kind of thing where we'll get involved.
That's an amazing idea. I have, I will share you this white paper. I have two more things which I just want to be go through, like related to ITOM health product view, how it looks like, and related to ITOM visibility, how the CSDM looks like. I have these things, and I have
Mhm,
couple of document from the now create as well. I will
mhm,
share all these three documents, or four, five, six document in in our that particular group, and you can refer it. You can, whatever the time you are allowing, you just go through it. And I will try something, will create something, which more visualize related to the CSDM, not the theoretical things, basically.
Right. I don't know how the other members would feel.
Guys, if
Maybe
you if you have any concerns, if you have anything, you feel free to suggest me. I'm open to hear.
I agree with that, Ajay. If you can do something, like the visuals would be better because this is too much theory that is
Definitely, definitely. I got your point.
yeah.
100% I will do that. I'm not going to be continue now. I think, that is again life cycle processes and all. Then we have hardware life cycles, like, uh, what will be the phases of the hardware life cycles? Like first of all, ideation, then purchase. As already I'm just discussing with you, inventory, deploy. These are the different status of it, right? But when you are going through that each and everything, you know instead, like you can read the things, but just also go through that status, substatus. That is also something important while we are managing something in the CMDB or the service now, right? So I will share that particular documentations to you. You just go through it, and let's have, or I as Lalit suggested, I will try to create couple of questions which is often asked on the CSDM side, and we'll discuss on that way as well. And I will try to prepare some demo, or slides which help you give more depth basics, or which give you the more understanding about the CSDM directly, not the theoretical things, right? I will do that. That's on my mind now. Okay, so any questions further before we are closing this calls today? I think there's no use of to continue that one now.
I'm good, Ajay. I think you summed it.
Even I'm
Yeah,
good.
I'm good.
Sure. Thank you. I think thank you so much, guys, for your time. I will share the document right away on that particular group. You can refer it and you can start something on it. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Sure. Thanks.